round is in the books, and it delivered a weekend filled with drama and ups and downs and ins and outs and tears and just crying and being excited. So let's dissect it from all angles with the divisional playoffs with the addition of Name,
Facts, Team!
Thank you. All right, in case you don't know already, here's how it works. I have categories, and you guys each grab a paddle and hold up the team that you think best corresponds to that category. So because there were certainly some upsets here in the throwdown round, I need to know which team was the biggest surprise to you, whether they won or whether they lost, the most surprising team.
I'm going with Jacksonville Jaguars, but in a good way. Not in the sense that I'm shocked that they played so well. I love the fact that we've been trying to push this narrative that it's good for Jacksonville that they're decent this year. You know what? Great for them. That defense is just super. And they said, you know what? Forget that narrative. We are a powerful defense. We have a good offense. We have a quarterback that has stepped up to the challenge. So they went out and they surprised the world. And they were doing that all season. And they shocked the team that thought they had a chance in beating up on them in the Steelers.
I'm going to go with the Eagles. It wasn't that they won the game. I thought they were the home team. The way they won the game, they beat the snot out of a very good Falcons offense. And Kyle, you said it earlier, if it wasn't for a muff punt, this might have been a shutout in this game. And Matt Ryan played his butt off trying to make stuff happen. But you got Julio Jones in the goal line situation, and they can stop the Falcons 4 different times. I was so impressed, and I was surprised with the way that Nick Foles played in the second half. I love what the Eagles did this weekend.
I'm going to go back to this one. We like to play the if you had been told before this weekend. If you had been told before this weekend that the Pittsburgh Steelers are going to score 42 points, it's a blowout. The Jacksonville's getting smoked. No, they scored 45. Blake Bortles, to me, is the biggest X factor in the entire playoff field. Even in a field where we have some quarterbacks we don't know if we can necessarily depend on, it's still Bortles. The way he played against Buffalo versus the way he played against Pittsburgh is insane. I was shocked at how good he was.
It is wild to me, definitely. And it was just on the other side, that Big Ben putting up all those points with 5 touchdowns has never been done in a playoff game when the team actually loses. That happened, and it makes me believe that maybe I shouldn't be surprised by splits when it comes to Big Ben. I mentioned it last week, his on-the-road splits, or when he faces Jacksonville, they're now 4-1 against him in Pittsburgh. That's something that I now believe in. You know, his splits against New England. There's something to splits and Big Ben. All right, next category. 4 more teams ended their season over the weekend. Which divisional round team was the most disappointing to you guys?
I'll put this back up. If we go back to Friday and said the Steelers have scored 42 points, you're going to lose to Jacksonville. It was specifically, obviously, the defense. Roethlisberger and Tony were absolutely incredible. You let Bortles and Fournette come in and put 45 on the hallowed ground of Heinz Field and the legends of Pittsburgh. And very, very disappointing. Fact is, I think they miss Ryan Shazier a lot. And we always wish him the best in his recovery, and it's very motivating. But strictly between the lines in a football sense, I think they really miss him.
Yeah, I'm going with the Atlanta Falcons. The Atlanta Falcons are 0-7 when they score less than 20 points, which seems like it's happened more often this season. And you look at what happened in the second half. They had 0 points, 118 yards. Julio Jones was a monster. I would hope that you would just go out and feed your beast, throw the ball to him 16 times, incorporate a game plan that is structured around him. He had 4 catches for 46 yards on the final drive. What does that say? Not that they're feeding them in the final minutes of the game. It means that they weren't feeding them during the game. So I feel like there's a ton of things to fix. They have too much talent for them to not put up points like we saw in the Steelers-Jags game.
I think you guys both nailed it with who was most underwhelming or who didn't live up to expectations. But if I'm waking up Monday morning, who's the most disappointed? I have to go with these guys.
Nailed it, Peter. You're right.
61 yards with 10 seconds left with the comeback that they had. One of the greatest comebacks literally in NFL history, that the Saints came back on the road from 17-0. To lose this morning is the most disappointing, gut-wrenching feel. I feel for you, Saints fans.
He threw 3 touchdowns in the second half. Did any part of you, even Joe Buck's voice talking about Case Keenum, you know, he's done this before. This is what he asked to try to do, lead another game-winning drive, and he had 3 going into this game. I still felt like trepidation almost in his voice, like Case isn't going to pull this out, and they did, and they crushed it. Really disappointing for fans. I'm going to go with the Titans, though, if I can add a...
Sure, here you go.
Derrick Henry, where were you? 12 carries for 28 yards, 2.6 yards per carry. This was your game. This was your opportunity to show why you should be the starter, not DeMarco Murray. So I was a little disappointed in that performance, even though it was against the Pats defense. All right, finally, you know we're all suckers for a good storyline here. Which divisional round team had the best storyline or has the best storyline now going into the championship weekend? You're like, I don't want to
pass. You know, in the game, you pass. Oh, come back.
No whammy.
These guys, 57 years in the making, a tortured franchise, 4 Super Bowl losses, so many NFC Championship game losses, and it looked like they had lost again, and somehow, some way, they found a way. And I talk about the football gods a lot on this show. Looks like there was some fairy dust coming down. I don't know if it's from 100-year-old Millie from her seats or what, but something. They had a horseshoe with them. They found a way. Best
Peter loves Millie.
Yeah, loves Millie.
Millie's great.
I'm going with this, for the simple fact that you couldn't script that any better if you were writing a story in Hollywood. And what I do love about that play, from an X's and O's standpoint, it feels great to see that as a football player. But when you're playing on the field and that happens and that shock settles in, you think to yourself, wow, it's meant. So for that play to go down like that, that locker room is thinking, you know what? Minnesota, the Super Bowl's here, we win like that. Maybe we're supposed to be the champs. That's motivation within itself. It's a great storyline. If they can cap this off with a Super Bowl win, whew, best storyline there is.
Amazing storyline. Peter, I always look at you on the show. You're always very good at finding the positive, building teams up that have had hard runs and fallen on hard times. So my best storyline, how about an Eagles captain trying to get Peter Schrager over here kicked off this show? Brandon Graham, what say you?
I got them for Peter Schrager. You wrong again. I guess you ain't never played football. The Eagles can't do what? Peter Schrager. Yeah, you better believe it. And I'm just happy that, everybody was against it, and we went out there and proved them wrong once again, and we're going to do it again next week.
How much did it motivate you that you were underdogs in your own house?
Man, it felt so good because we worked our butt off this year, and we're not going to, let up. And, you got to beat us. And I'm just happy that, we came together. And like I say, Peter Schrager, you was wrong. Good Morning Football, y'all don't need to have that boy on there no more because he was wrong.
He's calling for your job,
Peter. Give me your ID. Give me your badge.
So we've tried to iron this out, and we think some things might have been misconstrued. You never picked against the Eagles. No. You were never negative on them. I did a sort of satirical thing where I said you can't win in a way to motivate them because that's what people think. So I think maybe the message might have been lost somewhere.
Positive on the Falcons.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
He's positive on everyone,
Maybe
but things get confused. Now, we played that earlier in the show. Apparently, Brandon Graham has tweeted. None of us have seen this. What does he have to say, Peter?
It wasn't you. Somebody gave me the wrong name, but I'm going to get it right now. Let you see the video I was talking about.
Okay.
Oh, so it wasn't Shaker.
Yeah, it was this guy named Brandit or something like that.
There's layers to this. So I'm sure someone showed them the video of your rant.
Okay.
And someone might have misconstrued. It's an amazing. This is like we've got to get the 60 Minutes team on. It's an investigation, a deep dive.
Wait.
Where's Soledad Orion on
Let me talk to security. Yeah, you can react Peter's badge. Yeah, let him in the building tomorrow.
But it's mine.
You're good.
This is a strange.
Was it you?
I hope not. In fact, as I was on TV, it said Falcons got to buy.
Opposite.
I know, but I did it in a roundabout way where I'm saying you guys are terrible and there's no way you can win.
What matters, right? None of it.
If it motivates. Any role that we played is awesome. The fact that they did that and they're calling out Schrager's job. Security badge still works?
Hey, Brandon, come on the show, bro. We want to talk to you.
Call the show right now. If you call the show or, DM us, that'd be amazing.
We want Brandon Graham on the show.
Yeah.